Hi, everyone. Welcome to Talk of the Town here, Cat TV Studios. And today I'm really excited to have a super special guest who has been a longtime dear friend of mine for a long time.
A long time.
Katie Beck.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. I know you're busy. And
as are you.
Thank you. Yes, we're all busy, but glad you could make some time to come here and chit-chat.
Me too.
So I thought since you had a recent show at the Monument Arts and Culture Center, I was like, I should have her on and talk of the town. We try and keep things relevant, what's happening in town. So, but I thought we'd start off. We'll go way back.
Way back.
Way back to when we first met in high school.
Yes.
Let's see. I think I was a sophomore. You were a freshman.
So that would have been 2004.
Wow.
That would have been 20 years ago.
Oh my goodness. All right. We're
Yikes.
really aging ourselves here.
I know. Oops.
That's okay. So it's funny that our teacher, Mr. Carlson, who also came to see your performance.
He did. He and Rose both came.
Yeah. They're such lovely people. And that was the first class. I had broken my wrist. She was helping me take notes because I couldn't write left-handed. So thus the friendship was born.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty awesome.
I think you stole my pencil a few times. You and Mr. Carlson were playing
joke.
pranks on me.
Yes, because I had an eraser at the top, right?
Probably.
And he's like, I hid it over here. See if she finds it.
And then lots of theater together after that.
Yes, we did lots of theater together.
Musicals, straight plays, theater arts class.
Mm-hmm. So for you, tell the audience what you do.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
That's a loaded question.
What do I do? Let's see. I have always loved to sing, and I have slowly, painstakingly carved out a career for myself in singing, which is so great. And it's become... I never expected it to go this way growing up, but it's become an opera career, actually. That's kind of, the main performance or, avenue of performance that pays the bills, or at least we try to have it pay the bills.
No, I get it. Yeah.
I grew up singing everything and anything. And it was mostly pop music, actually. Just whatever I heard on the radios. Alicia Keys, Christina Aguilera, Kelly Clarkson, whatever pop music was when I was young.
Right.
And, but also Ella Fitzgerald too. And what else did I really like? Those are the ones that come to mind. And my mom recognized that I really loved to sing and wanted to get me more involved in that. And I eventually joined the Bennington Children's Chorus when I was 12.
Okay, good.
And we'll come back around to that at some point.
Yeah. That's kind of a circle back moment.
Circle back moment. Yeah, bookmark that.
Yeah.
And I joined when I was 12 under the direction of Carrie Rayer Park. And that's what introduced me to just more ways to sing. Okay. We did a lot of classical music from other cultures, other countries, and that was just really fun and kind of eye-opening for me. Right. And eventually that led me to, as I was middle of high school or so, I started taking voice lessons from her. And that led me to pursue vocal performance in college. That's great. So I went to SUNY Potsdam, the State University of New York at Potsdam, where the Crane School of Music is. I went there for 4 years. And a lot of actually local, or at least when I was growing up, a lot of the local music teachers in this area were graduates of Crane.
And highly probably recommended it and things like that.
Yeah. And it's known for music ed school, but it was great for me for performance opportunities. I was in a lot of student operas there. Was lucky to get some great roles and experience under my belt. Cool. Then I took a couple of years off and actually worked locally in the schools and at Pangea Lounge, and a long time workplace for me locally, and eventually said, nope, I want to keep pursuing this.
Good. And as you should, because you have a gift.
Well, thank you.
A talent and a gift. Anyway.
Well, and the 2 years off was really good because I think a lot of people jump into grad school, as kind of like I don't know what else to do, so I should do this.
It feels like I should just keep continuing. Why?
I should just keep going. But the time off was really good for me because, as a mentor recommended, it was kind of a way for me to get out of student mode and I ended up going back to grad school because I realized, oh no, I really miss this and I want to do it all the time.
Right.
So I ended up going to grad school a couple years later at the University of Southern California, the Thornton School of Music
So
in
that's what
LA.
prompted the move across.
So
See,
that was
I was trying to remember all of her moves, but I couldn't. So
we've lived a lot of places.
Yes.
So I was there doing my master's degree in vocal arts, and I did 1 of 2 years of a graduate certificate there as well between 2014 and 2017. And that was a great experience there. And then after that, again, opera was kind of the main character
Right.
at this point, although I still liked to sing other stuff, but I was very...
it was your main driver of
Yeah.
work, but also passion or something like that.
Well, study. Very much still just
I'm sure.
technique
Well,
and
yeah.
performance and acting and all of the things.
You'll have to watch her performance. I mean, it's just going off of that.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these songs you sang or opera bits, I'll call them.
Yep.
They were 8 minutes, I'll say, maybe. And, the level of memorization and inflections and getting that across to the audience is a lot. But, yeah, I mean, it's just memorization.
Yeah,
In that field
memorization.
of,
Other
So-
languages.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
And you study that. I did do before I went to grad school, I did 2 years of the Middlebury College Italian immersion program too.
That's probably really
and
helpful.
that helps with, it helped me so much with Italian.
Is majority of operas based in Italian? Do you find that that's where a lot of operas have been born out of?
I think a lot of them are born out of Italian. There's also, I think the other 2 main languages in opera are German and French.
Okay,
and
interesting.
then we have Russian. I mean, there are operas in many
Yeah.
languages, but I would say Italian, German, and French are the most prominent. English is prominent too. And yeah, so you hopefully you may not be able to speak them all,
Right.
but you can hopefully pronounce them all by the end of your training.
Sure.
Yeah. And then after I was in grad school, I was very lucky to get into multiple resident artist programs across the country. So I always describe those as like the way you think of a doctor going to do a residency with a hospital. It's the same thing where young opera singers will go do residencies with an opera company. So I was at Opera Colorado for a year.
Okay.
And then I was I got into another one after that at Arizona Opera where I was for 2 years. And then after that, I got into another one, again, very lucky because they can be very competitive, at the Ryan Opera Center at the Lyric Opera of Chicago.
Okay. That's our most recent one, right?
That was the most recent one.
Because after that, we've moved here.
Yes.
Back home.
Yes,
for a
and
bit.
now we're back home for a bit. So we lived in LA for 3 years, Denver for 1, Phoenix for 2.
Great. Oh, you've seen
And
it all.
then Chicago for 3. And then we were at other places during the summers because then you have summer residencies too.
Oh, okay.
So
Yep. And I know you did have you done a lot of European?
Not a ton.
Not a ton?
I have done an audition tour around Europe where last year my family and I all went over. Like my husband and my son and I all went over, and we had kind of a home base in Frankfurt while I auditioned at 12 different cities in 4 different countries.
What an amazing opportunity. Holy
Crazy.
moly.
We were
Yeah.
very lucky to be able to do
Right,
that because we had friends we were able to stay with.
That's
Or
great.
else it would not have happened.
Yeah, but still, the opportunity to just sprinkle your name around Europe and see what happens in the future.
I know. Nothing yet, but
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
Yeah,
You
this will
never
be your
know.
first official interview. No, I'm kidding.
I know.
So, stepping back, like when obviously your mom saw an interest in you liking to sing, when did you feel like this is something I'd love to do?
I always, actually always, but I never knew it would be opera.
You didn't know it'd be a career. Yeah, maybe when was the opera light bulb turn on? Was that maybe?
You know, it's so interesting. It was very gradual. I wouldn't call it like the only light bulb moment I had was when I was in Bennington Children's Chorus, when just like Carrie was conducting and we were singing this beautiful music. I'm pretty sure it was actually a piece by Fauré called the Cantique de Jean Racine. I do remember. This is my light bulb moment of like classical music. And I was 12 or 13.
It's amazing.
And I remember like being in just like a school performance. We were performing for a school locally. And I remember just being like, whoa, this is a lot.
Yeah.
This is so deep and interesting and overwhelmingly inspiring. And so but I never had like an opera light bulb, but the inspiration from that moment kind of just carried me in that direction.
Cool.
Yeah.
So from classical, and then that kind of opened up the opera door and things like that.
Yeah. But when I was a kid, I wanted to be a pop star.
Right. Well, yeah.
So.
Yeah. Get it?
A little different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we changed. We zig and we zag.
We did.
We yin and we yang.
Yeah.
So out of your experiences are probably different, obviously, in every place, but is there, I think I know the answer to that one, but I'll ask, like, what was your favorite location in terms of work?
Ooh.
I know you've lived in some pretty cool places and cities, so.
I think my favorite location, well, it was a short-term one, but my favorite location we've lived in, I guess it was almost 3 months, so it was, a decent chunk of time, was one of the summer residencies I did. I say we because my husband would travel with me, luckily.
Good Scott.
Good job, Scott. Was Santa Fe. Santa Fe, New Mexico. At Santa Fe Opera I did in 2019.
I've never been to Santa Fe.
It is so beautiful.
Oh.
And we kind of have fallen in love with the Southwest, having lived in a bunch of places
sure, like
out
LA
there.
and yeah.
Because you guys were in Colorado, so you remember
we were,
that
yeah.
kind of
it's
spirit
great.
of adventure out there.
Yep.
And we missed that. But Santa Fe was a really dreamy place to work, and the opera house there is like an open air opera house. It does have like a roof over where the audience sits and where the stage is, but the sides are open and also the back of the stage is open. The sets are usually designed so that you can see the beautiful mountains of New Mexico through the
that's
set.
cool.
And the shows start at sunset, and it's
epic colors,
mind-blowing.
and that's awesome.
So when you're backstage,
sweet.
you just see these mind-blowing sunsets behind you every day.
How do you not get distracted?
You do get distracted.
Like, oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, I need to...
Yeah, and sometimes the elements would it'd be like you'd get a random thunderstorm or even a hailstorm, and that would really add to the performance. And
just enhances it.
Yeah, it really did.
Cool. That's awesome. That's a really unique venue. That would be really something to see.
So cool.
Yep.
And Tanglewood, I spent some summers there too.
Yes.
That are
Local.
Amazing, but I think the city we miss the most. We probably would never relocate there because it's harder with a family, but we miss LA.
Yeah.
It was just a fun, adventurous place to be at that age.
Yeah. I've visited a few times for auto work, and it's a fun city. I mean, don't know if I live there, but it's nice to go visit for a week and be like, this is fun. And
Well, they really, you really can go skiing and to the beach in the same day.
The commercials are true.
Yeah. The commercials are true. It does take you a long time to get from one point to another.
So if you leave super early and you ski and then come back, you can make it for sunset. That's cool. You can do it. So and now shifting, I think this one I probably know based on maybe his recent appearance. Who has been your favorite mentor or teacher through this whole thing?
Oh gosh.
And maybe I'm wrong, but that's fine.
Well, I have a few. I have a small handful of favorites. I think the one you're referring to, who you met recently, was my friend and mentor and former boss Craig Terry, who is a Grammy-winning pianist. He plays for literally all of the greats in opera. Great. And that's great. Sometimes I get to squeeze into his schedule and or vice versa. I invite him to squeeze himself into mine. And he is just fabulous. He can play anything.
Watching him work the keys was quite impressive. Yeah.
He always says, so he is the music director for the Ryan Opera Center, again, a residency program with the Lyric Opera of Chicago. But he's also done, I think, when he was a resident artist himself, he was with Houston Grand Opera and I think the Met and Chicago. Well, definitely Chicago. And he's just taught me so much about remembering that, although there's so much technique and structure that goes into classical and opera, he's reminded me that it's okay to be improvisatory and take risks with it.
Sure.
And it's nice because the similarity between Craig and I is that we both grew up in performing other genres of music that were not classical. And he always says, classical is kind of my crossover. And that's really nice because it kind of is for me too.
Yeah. When you said that at 12 years old, you want to be a pop star and you heard the classical music.
Yes, exactly. So it was just really nice. It feels like when I get to perform with Craig, or learn from Craig as a coach, I feel like I get to revisit my roots.
That's cool.
In a really
That's nice.
fun way. So he's been wonderful. Early on in my college years, when I was at the Crane School of Music, a couple people who were really influential in my musical kind of life and shaping was Stephanie Blythe. She's an opera singer who went to the Crane School of Music, and she since had an amazing career at the Met, and she now teaches the I can't remember the name of the program officially, but she teaches the graduate voice program at Bard College.
Okay, Bard. I think I've heard of that.
In the Hudson Valley.
Yep.
Really, really incredible performer,
Wow.
recitalist. She and Craig have worked together
cool.
many, many times. And that's actually one of the ways I first ever saw Craig perform was when he played for her.
That's cool. Well, that's a powerhouse right
Yeah.
there. Those two.
Oh,
Wow,
my
yeah,
gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, they were.
I thought you two were a powerhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, you are, but seeing someone with...
They blow me out of the water.
Yeah, yeah.
In terms of powerhouse, like her voice is absolutely magnificent.
Yeah.
But she was one of the first people to hear me sing in a master class
Mm-hmm.
and sit me down, took me aside into a private room, sat me down and said, "You can do this if you want it." And it was terrifying.
But also like, holy
yeah.
bleep.
Yeah, and I took that, I was absolutely terrified and also took it really seriously. And so she just, and I also always loved watching her perform. She has a sincerity and connection to the audience that I always admired. And another person that's also connected to Stephanie is her dear friend who was my teacher at USC.
Okay.
His name was Alan Lewis Smith, and he's since passed away, sadly. Much
You
too
had
soon.
a dedication to him?
In the concert,
In the
yes.
concert? That's him? Okay.
So Craig and I performed one of his pieces in our recent recital at the Mack Center. And he was a composer, taught the keyboard collaborative arts program at University of Southern California, and that's how I met one of my dear friends who's another collaborator friend named Jasper. He and I did a recital here in 2017.
Okay.
I think now it's been a little bit, but he was just another incredible teacher I've had who taught me so much about interpreting music and communicating what the composer wrote and making them, the composers real people that are, communicating real stories.
Yeah.
And so that was another. Though I would say those three people are some of the most influential people.
That's good.
As well as Carrie Rayer Park.
I was just going to say, probably
Who's
comes
here.
all back to where it started, really.
Yep.
It's amazing. And I'm sure, did she have anything, obviously she did, anything to say after seeing you, after all these years perform?
She, it's funny you say that. She and I are getting together later today.
Oh, there you go.
To chat. But also, she was very complimentary. I saw her briefly after the concert. It's always a little chaotic
Oh, of course.
afterwards.
All your fans.
But she is taking a brief leave of absence from the Bennington Children's Chorus this fall, and I'll be stepping in as guest conductor starting in about 2 weeks.
How about that?
September 19th at the Unitarian Universalist Church.
Nice.
Every Thursday at 4.
Every Thursday at 4.
Every Thursday at 4, ages 7 to 17.
This is the plug
Please join.
This is the bookmark plug that we came back to.
This is the bookmarked plug,
like
yes. But in
like
any
it.
case, Carrie and I are getting together later
awesome.
this same afternoon to talk
awesome.
music and yeah.
She must be so proud of you, as we all are. But yeah, I mean, it's great. And I'm trying to think, like, maybe breaking it up. Do you have like a moment that was most fond of your singing in like high school?
I can't believe we haven't talked about high school yet.
Like a nice performing moment in high school, then college, then post college. Like, has there been a dream role?
Dream roles.
Break it up into 3. Boom.
Yeah. Okay. So high school.
High school. Then there'd be a play. It could have been
Yeah.
a song you did in chorus.
Oh man. I mean, high school there's so much, and then it's so great when you're in chorus in high school. You have it every single day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I really learned how to sight read in chorus. I learned how to audition.
Yes.
Because we were doing the festival auditions, like
That's right.
districts,
New
all
England,
states, New
all
England.
states. Yep.
Those were amazing
Yeah.
experiences in high school. I would say one of my favorite shows was Seussical.
Yes.
And Nonsense.
Oh, and Nonsense.
Both of those were really great. That year, in particular, the Nonsense year was really great because I remember it was like the women did Nonsense and the men did Julius Caesar.
Oh, is that what that year was? Yeah. That was, and it was Seussical, then Nonsense, and Julius.
I think those all happened maybe in the same year.
And we did Harvey.
Yes. So that was a good year.
That was a good year.
And then college, I think so there's this really short, really beautiful opera by Ravel called L'Enfant et les Sortilèges, and it's in French, and it means the child and the enchantments.
Okay.
And what happens is this little boy who I was able to play, that was like the lead role. I played a little boy.
That's cool.
When I was in my sophomore year of college. And the story is that he gets really bratty and throws a tantrum and breaks a lot of the stuff in the room. And then I can't remember if he falls asleep, but basically he has this either a dream or a vision that all of the things come to life and teach him a lesson.
Interesting.
And it's cool. It's really interesting music. And there's someone who plays like an armchair and someone who plays a clock and someone that plays, the math teacher and all of these.
What happens at the end? Does he...
So he learns his lesson.
As to say, he repents his ways.
Repents and like hugs his mom. Right. Like,
I'm sorry.
But it was a really beautiful production.
And when you say short, how long is that? Is that like a...
Yeah, it's not super short. It's still about an hour.
Oh, wow. I was going to say, is it like a one act of a play? Is it 30 minutes? Yeah, wow.
Not super short, but, because opera's the only, I would dare say it's almost an issue, is that opera can be kind of long. So it's good for people that, can pay attention, but they're also...
Yeah.
But also it's, you go and make an event of it.
Right.
You go and get a nice snack or a drink at intermission, and you go out to dinner beforehand and make it a whole thing.
Yep.
But this was, a short one-act opera-ish. And then grad school... I guess I was in 3 operas in grad school. I wouldn't necessarily call this a dream role, but it taught me so much. Which
that's important too.
Yeah, I played the lead role of Sesto in Mozart's La Clemenza di Tito. And it's a little bit of a convoluted plot to describe, but essentially Sesto is caught between trying to please the love of his life, but also save the life of his friend. So it's very opera dramatic, very And what happened was very unfortunately, it was double cast.
Oh,
and that wasn't the unfortunate part. What happened was the person who was double cast with me had to withdraw due to health reasons.
Oh no.
And so all of a sudden, I was basically doing every single performance 8 days in a row, if you count the dress rehearsal days and then the performance days. So 4 performances in a row.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Which for opera, that's actually quite not normal.
Is this a full-length opera?
Full-length opera.
So what's that? Is that 2 to 3 hours?
I would say it was a good 3 hours.
Wow.
At least. And it was not cut. Sometimes they'll cut operas that are really long. Right,
gotcha. Yeah, or scenes that are yeah.
This one was not completely uncut.
Marathon.
It was a marathon, and
that's
taught me
24 hours of singing. Just think about that. That's a whole day of singing. Oh my gosh. Non-stop, practically.
I had my friend and my voice teacher were worried about me. They said, I was a teaching assistant at the time, and they said, cancel all the lessons you have to teach. Sleep until noon every day. Just only focus on that. Relax your voice, rest your voice. Yeah. And it went really well.
Think about that. That's crazy.
It was crazy.
A whole day of singing.
It was
all combined. That's insane. You don't think about it like that, but yeah.
It was a lot.
It's different doing a play. You talk, maybe you got a little rest or whatever, but you don't have to. Singing is just so much more work.
Well, and the other thing about opera, the fun fact is that we don't use a mic.
Right, so even more projection.
So it's all just your body in the theater. There's no microphone at all.
You can thank Mr. Foley for that.
Yeah.
Right? In those good old days.
Foley.
Now the kids today, well, I know they say that, but I sound so old.
Today.
Kids today. But they've got microphones now at the high school, every one of them, which is great. They've enhanced it a lot. It's a different type. But I remember, he'd be sitting in the back row.
Can't hear you.
Project, I can't hear you.
Yep.
Keep louder.
I know, and you never think it's loud enough.
And that was singing or or just talking. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'd be that scared little friend.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Can't hear you. Louder. Anyway. But
a lot of good lessons that we learned.
And I'm sure that's little MAU. You've got a project to fill these big opera houses.
You do. Yep.
What's the largest seating that you've ever performed for? Roughly.
Oh, man. I would say, I mean, it depends, but I think, so the instance where you do use a mic is when you do an outdoor concert.
Okay.
Because obviously there's only so far.
Yeah, there's elements that...
acoustics that can't be trapped within a space. I've performed for, the Tanglewood Music Festival, which, if you count the lawn, it's
that's
huge.
right, the lawn, yeah.
I can't, and I'm terrible with numbers, so I don't know. And I've also performed at the, these are the outdoor ones, the Millennium Park at Grant Park in Chicago does these big outdoor concerts, same thing. I've done that with Lyric. I really couldn't tell you how many seats, but the biggest theater I've performed in, I would say, is the Lyric Opera of Chicago, where I was a resident. Man, I wish I remembered the number of seats. I'm so bad with that.
That's okay.
But it's quite large.
Quite large.
Yeah.
Several hundred?
I have performed at the Met.
Yes, you have. I've seen
in
that.
a competition on the Met stage.
That's cool.
Not a performance. I was an understudy at the Met for a season, but did perform in a competition on that stage too. So
you've been performing on some pretty renowned stages.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Very lucky. Very lucky.
So as we wrap up here, what brought you back home for a bit?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm excited you're home. I know a lot of people are too. So what prompted that?
So it's always been it's a struggle to be. The hardest thing about this career is the family aspect. Because it really takes you away and you have a lot of travel.
Sure. Yeah.
And sometimes it demands you live in certain places, especially during those years of residency. So ever since we moved to LA, there's always been a part of us that's like, kind of train us to come back. Or at least, like pulling us back to the East Coast. And we slowly did really work our way back. Yeah, you kind of did that. Yep, exactly.
One step at a time, yeah.
I think the thing that, really the life event that changed, that really pushed us toward that decision was we have a 3-year-old now and another one on the way.
Ooh.
Well, I guess he's almost 3, but
that counts.
Kids. And, just being a little closer to family, we never knew, we just knew we needed to be drivable to family.
Sure.
And whatever that meant. And we're very much like boots on the ground people in terms of trying out a place and seeing if we would like to stay there.
Right.
In this case, we had a connection to a really lovely rental in the area.
Yeah.
And my parents and my sister live here. And my husband's family actually also just recently, his parents moved an hour away.
Great.
His siblings are an hour away.
Oh, that's awesome. So he's really...
Yeah.
All the important things are here.
Everybody, all of our people, quote unquote, our family, I should say, are all here. Our people. Our people are here. And so that was that made it a no-brainer, as well as this lovely rental connection.
Sure, yeah.
That we're renting from lovely friends of ours.
Yes.
So, I basically... what my husband and I have learned in all of the places we've lived and things we've done is that everything's an experiment.
Yep. Right.
I will say we lived in cities for 10 years.
Yeah.
And
that's right, when you add it all up. Yeah.
And they all happen to be really major cities.
Yeah.
So there are, things about coming back that were more surprising, changes that we didn't anticipate because we both grew up here. Or I grew up here. My husband grew up in northern New York. So it was a little more, of an adjustment than we had maybe thought. But we look at mountains every day in our backyard and just go,
it's nice.
So
it's nice.
Now my husband's still working from home and I'm teaching. I have a private studio.
Awesome.
I teach. I was teaching all ages at first, and now I'm really saying ages 12 and up. But yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. And that's what brought us back.
I like it. Any and so recently you had the recital at the Monument Arts Culture Center. I call it that. I'll say it MAC for short. I like that better. But that was pretty well attended, and a lot of great people to see where you've grown. I know Lynn Sweet was like, wow, since high school, it
was so
it's
nice
night
to
and
see
day.
her.
Yeah. So, any future opera plans other than the teaching?
Yeah.
That you can share?
I can share almost certainly that I will be singing a Messiah with the Nashville Symphony.
Oh, cool.
In December.
Wow.
Right after baby number 2 comes. So
Wow,
that's going to be
man.
very adventurous.
Wow. So is that all 4 of you go down, or just you and
Very good question.
Scott's got his hands full, or help from?
Yeah, we may bring a
Yeah.
couple of our moms down.
Yes,
actually.
that's a good idea.
So that we it's undecided whether
Yeah,
Scott
it'd be really
and my
hard
son
to
will-
leave baby number 2, especially.
Well, we can't leave baby
no,
number 2.
No.
Definitely
No.
not. But so baby number 2 is coming.
Yep. The Messiah.
The Messiah.
Sorry.
Hey,
Love
who
you.
knows?
I know, right?
So we're all.
So how long is that one?
That's luckily just like a week, under
Oh,
a week
okay.
or so. It's
Just
not
a
that
holiday
long.
special. I wasn't sure if it was
Little
like
holiday
all of
special.
December or something like that. Cool.
No, that one's quick, or
That's
else
good.
I don't know if it would be
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
And then the next one I have coming up that's on the books is I'm singing in Barbara of Seville with Minnesota Opera in
Cool.
the Minneapolis area,
Wow.
and we're all probably going to go to that.
Yeah.
And it's a 2-month gig actually. It's
Cool.
a long one.
Wow.
And we leave mid-March and come back
Mid-May?
mid to late May.
Wow, that's great.
Singing.
So those are the 2 big things on the horizon for you.
Those are the 2 ones coming up.
Great.
Yep.
So if people are interested to get a hold of you, they have an aspiring singer.
Yes. Yeah.
The floor is yours.
You can email me at katiebeck802@gmail.com. KATIE
That's true.
BECK802@gmail.com. You could look me up on my website, which has my given name of Catherine Catherine Beck.
The full name.
No one ever calls me Catherine
Yes.
yet. It's still the name of my website.
You'd probably be in trouble if someone called.
Yes, only right. When you're in trouble.
It's Michael.
Exactly. So Catherine Beck, mezzosoprano.com. That's wow, I'm gonna spell the whole thing.
Then go for it.
KATHERINE, last name BECK. Then we have mezzo soprano, MEZZOSOPRANO.
Perfect. You scored it. You spelled it correctly.
Spell.
You win the spelling bee now too. Yeah.
Yes, or feel free to reach out to Mike or Cat TV, and I'm sure they could.
Yeah, we can coordinate if you need that. But yeah, probably the email, right? Yeah.
Email
Exactly.
and website.
Yeah,
is
you
probably
can search
best.
Katie Beck. You will probably find her on the web. So.
Can I add the extra
Oh,
plug?
yeah, go for it. Plug.
So if you have any kiddos ages 7 to 17 that love to sing, we're also recruiting for the Bennington Children's Chorus.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the local chorus that really inspired me to do
Right.
what I do.
Here we are. Here's a product of that chorus. That's awesome.
Yeah, and they meet every Thursday
Mm-hmm.
afternoon at 4 p.m. at the what is it called?
I call it the UU.
The
But
UU.
Unitarian.
Universalist Church, right in downtown Bennington, and you can contact me at those same avenues if you need any more information. I think there are some flyers around as well.
Yes, I've seen it on Facebook too.
So-
You've been sharing it. I've seen
Yep.
it, so, yep.
And it meets for just an hour, maybe just over an hour every Thursday at 4.
great.
And we do some really cool music, and there'll be a performance.
I was going to say, what is it? Nice.
Yeah, I think we'll do 7 pieces at
Nice.
a performance at the Old First Church in December.
Oh, beautiful. What a
Yeah.
great little venue too. Man, that's awesome.
I will be conducting until baby number 2 comes, and
Right,
then
right.
Carrie Rare Park will be back to take over. Yes.
That's good. All exciting things in your life. That's awesome. And just so happy for you to come by and say hello and share your journey so far. And I look forward to seeing where you go. This is exciting.
Thank you.
And anything else?
No, thanks for having me.
You're quite welcome. Thanks for coming. So another episode of Talk of the Town, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.